Hey guys, it's Crystal. So for today's video, I'm going to be explaining how my labor and delivery went. This is basically going to be my labor and delivery story. If you guys haven't noticed, I did end up cutting my hair. I converted to the mom cut, because I'm a mom now. Had to get the mom cut. No, I am just kidding, but let's just get right into this video because I'm pretty sure this video is going to be a decently long video. Sorry for my voice or if I sound any different. I am just getting over like having a sore throat and a stuffy nose and a cough. So I'll apologize if my voice is a little off. So on December 26, 2017, I had a scheduled induction for 7:30 p.m. And I had to call the hospital at 6:30 p.m. to make sure that my spot was still secure, to make sure that they still had enough beds open that I was able to come in and get induced. And the reason that they have you call is to make sure that they have enough beds open because some moms might actually be going into like real labor, like their water broke and the whole 9 yards. So I went in at 7:30. It took me, I got undressed, got into my hospital gown. I ended up having a really big dinner at Cracker Barrel beforehand. I kept saying that I really wanted Chick-fil-A before I went in, but then my mind changed and I really wanted like good breakfast food, and Cracker Barrel, in my opinion, has like the best like restaurant breakfast food. So I wasn't allowed to eat anything, like, while I was in the hospital and while I was in the hospital bed and everything, but I was allowed to drink liquids, and the liquids that like they gave me like choices for, and I was allowed to chew ice chips. So that I was allowed to drink apple juice, ginger ale, or water, and I kept drinking water and apple juice because I love apple juice. I don't know why, but that's one of like my favorite drinks. So my nurse, all the nurses and the doctors I had, they were amazing, beyond nice. I loved all of them. So I was sitting in the hospital bed for a little bit. My one nurse came in, she gave me an IV in my hand. So when they did want to give me fluids, they could. They put the monitor on my stomach, like the heartbeat monitor for the baby. And after she put the IV in my hand, she got me my ice chips and my apple juice. So I was basically sipping on the apple juice and chewing the ice chips while we waited for them to give me the medicine that they insert into my cervix. So they inserted the pill into my cervix and ended up not working. And by not working, it made my contractions too strong and made them too close together, which really isn't safe for the baby. So I ended up having to get this thing called a Foley tube, which basically is like, so it's a tube with basically, imagine like a balloon almost, and it basically manually opens your cervix to make you become dilated. So they gave me, so I ended up getting really like upset that the pill like wasn't working, because the nurses did warn me that the Foley tube is a little uncomfortable, it is painful, and I was already so nervous about pain and everything. Going to the hospital, I was really nervous, my nerves are super duper bad. So she ended up giving me medicine to calm me down through my IV. And the medicine made me feel really loopy and really out of touch with what was really going on. The medicine also made me super duper sleepy. So when they did put the Foley tube in, I really didn't feel anything, which was good and on my end, because I was really happy that I didn't feel anything because I was so worried about feeling pain. So, but when they did go to put the Foley tube in, they did say that I was 1 to 2 centimeters dilated, which made me really happy that I was already starting to progress. So the medicine did do something. I actually slept really well that night, December 26th. I really slept well because the medicine made me so like sleepy, and it was so like easy to sleep. Like I wasn't in that much pain, and the medicine really didn't wear off until the next day. So the next day, the Foley tube was still in, everything was okay. I was just relaxing in the hospital bed, drinking apple juice, eating ice chips, drinking water. But when they put the Foley tube in, I wasn't really allowed to like walk or get up that much. I was allowed to get up and use the bathroom. But they gave me this portable like toilet, and they put it like right next to my bed, and I was allowed to get up out of bed and basically just go to the bathroom literally right there. I did not even have to walk. I didn't have to take like any steps. I literally just got up, sat down, and like got back in my bed. Simple as that. So it was about like, I'm going to say 8 a.m., 9 a.m., where I really had to go to the bathroom, and I got up and I went to the bathroom, and I had to go pee, obviously. I went pee and everything, and I stood up, and I felt an immense amount of pressure down there, and it told me once you become 5 centimeters dilated, that the Foley tube basically falls out, that it basically blows up and it falls out. Let me tell you that it was the weirdest feeling I have ever felt in my entire life. So my mom was standing next to me to help me because I already felt pressure before the Foley tube fell out. So she would help me get in and out of bed and to make sure I didn't fall or lose balance, because the medicine, she was worried about the medicine still, because the medicine did like mess with my head. It made me like loopy and everything. So I stood up and I had to grab onto the bed, and my mom was, just putting her hand there so I didn't fall backwards. And I said, Mom, like I feel it, it's about to like come out, it's about to fall out. And basically I literally felt, so it felt like this, like I literally felt like a balloon was blowing up, and all of a sudden it plopped on the ground. And my dad was like, was that the baby? And it was really funny because in that moment, like I was really, like my adrenaline was rushing. I was super duper nervous already. So that was really good to lighten the mood. So then when the follow tube fell out, I ended up paging my nurse and telling her that, oh my God, my follow tube fell out. And everything was okay, like it was fine. Things didn't start getting bad until like 11 a.m. And I started having really bad contractions to the point where it was making me tear up and cry. So my contractions started really getting bad at like 11 a.m. And that's when they called the doctor in, the anesthesiologist, and I got to get my epidural. So they ended up calling the anesthesiologist and I got my epidural. And most of the people that I've talked to who've gotten an epidural, they've said that if the epidural feels like a flu shot or just a shot in general, but in my opinion, it felt like a bee sting in my back. And when they did put the needle in, I did flinch. I didn't cry when they did all that. Like, I had a really big fear of needles, but ever since I've been pregnant and stuff, having to get so much blood work, so many shots, I've just gotten used to being poked and prodded. I'm really used to it by now. I ended up getting my epidural, and after I got my epidural, I felt so much better. My pain was basically gone. Like I felt little to almost, it was completely gone. I mostly felt the contractions on my right side. And yeah, I mostly felt the pain or contractions on my right side of my body more than my left. My left was completely numb, and my right was like numb too, but it wasn't completely numb. I felt it like a little bit, but it was tolerable. It wasn't anything that was crazy that I couldn't handle, basically. So I was in active labor for a while, basically after I got my epidural. So about like 2 hours after I got my epidural, I ended up becoming 10 centimeters like very quickly. And I was 10 centimeters dilated for a while. So I was technically in active labor for a couple hours. And I didn't end up pushing because I was pushing for an hour and 30 minutes. So I guess I started pushing around like 6 something. So I ended up having to do practice pushes for a good bit, like for a little while. And then eventually my doctor came in. And because I was in active labor so long, my doctor was actually shocked because no nurses paged her to be like, okay, like Crystal has been in active labor for this long, blah, blah, blah. So my doctor ended up saying, no, like Crystal needs a push now, and basically saying like she cannot wait any longer because I was in active labor for a while. So the practice pushes, my bed was just like normal, my bed was normal, but when like the real deal happened, when I actually was ready to really push, they ended up raising my bed up like super duper high. They ended up getting the foot things out, and everything got really real really, really fast. So I was pushing for an hour and 30 minutes. I don't know if like that's what the doctor said and the nurse said. I don't know if that's I think that's with the practice pushes included. And the reason that they have to do practice pushes before you do the real thing is because the practice pushes help the baby's head basically like turn while you do it. Like the baby's head turns to like come out. So then eventually, after pushing for an hour and 30 minutes, Violet finally came out. And Violet was super duper big when she came out. She was 7 pounds, 5 ounces. But she was also like really swollen in the face. She was really chubby. She had a lot of double chins. So when Violet came out, she was really swollen. She looked really like pale, like more like blue, not so much pale. But she came out, and as soon as she came out, she started crying right away. My dad ended up cutting the umbilical cord. And after my dad did that, they ended up just ripping my gown down right away, like no warning, no nothing, because I told them I wanted skin to skin. Like I didn't care if she had blood, whatever on her. I wanted like skin to skin contact right away. And when she came out, she wasn't like as bloody as I thought she was going to be. She had a little bit of blood on her, but I expected her to come out like drenched in blood. She was had this like the doctors called it like almost cottage cheese, like it's all this like white stuff all over her. Yeah, so they just ripped my gown down, put her on my chest, and as soon as they put her on my chest, she stopped crying like right away, which I really like enjoyed. It made me really happy when she stopped crying right away because that made me feel like she knew like I was her mom and everything. Because like one of my biggest concerns was that I didn't know if like she was gonna know who I am, and I didn't know if like we were gonna have a connection, or you know what I mean. I didn't know. When she came out, I didn't cry. Like while I was in labor, I didn't cry. I didn't cry when I seen her. I just had so much of an adrenaline rush. Like, I was feeling pain while I was pushing in the moment, but as soon as I seen her, it's like basically like my world just completely stopped, and all the pain stopped, everything just stopped as soon as I seen her. And it's like, I couldn't even cry because of how happy I was. Like, I was just so happy that I couldn't even cry. I didn't cry till later that night, and like when I was like looking at her, and I was like, oh my God, like I gave birth to like this entire human, and this is my human, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna be raising this human for, you know, forever. But everything just happened so fast. Like, I didn't even feel like I was in labor that long. I felt like the recovery period afterwards felt like I was there for like weeks, even though I was only there for like 2-3 days. But I was really overall happy with my experience, like with the hospital and all the doctors and nurses I had. Every single one of them was completely nice. I loved all of them. They all made me feel really good and made me feel really safe under their care, and I was just really happy with the overall experience. Violet did end up getting pictures done in the hospital. People came in and took her pictures, which I really liked. They were a little pricey, but I think it's worth it. Especially, I feel like a lot of people go all out for their first child. I was really happy that my dad ended up like paying for those pictures, because it's like something that's really memorable, and I'm obviously always going to remember that day, and that's something that I want to like cherish and hold on to. After I gave birth, I was in the hospital for 2 days after, and basically I just took care of Violet in the hospital. My parents helped me because I really couldn't really get up that much. It was really hard for me to get up because, you know, my body just went through one of the most traumatic experiences it will probably ever go through. I pushed through as hard as I could, and I actually recovered really quickly, and I think it's because I pushed myself to get up, walk, and not just sit in bed and not just sit down all the time, and at least trying to recover like faster. Thank you guys so much for watching my labor and delivery story. Sorry if this was a boring video. My labor and delivery went really smooth. Nothing that interesting happened besides giving birth. That was a very interesting experience. But overall, it was a really happy experience. I didn't have anything bad to say about it. I have been filming a little bit, so I do have vlogs lined up and ready to post. Sorry if they're not that interesting. As the days go on, they're getting more interesting because I am starting to do more stuff. More things that Violet's starting to do as the days go on. She's growing, you know, she's growing. She's starting to learn to do new things. So be prepared for those videos. Those are going to be interesting to watch. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more videos like this one.